So let's talk about what's happening on SkeemSaam. So I'm going to be starting with Pretty, Lehasa, and Quizzy. So from last week's episodes, I spoke about um, Lehasa paying for the damages for the baby, but I was not sure if he paid the lobola for Quizzy. But this recent episodes for this week, I just found out that he actually paid for the baby and her, which means Kwezi is Lehasa's wife. Okay? So Kwezi is now a Makoti, whatever they call it in Setswana. So yeah, it's too much to handle for one person. Pretty's really going to do it. She's not yet in the right mindset to accept that Lehasa chose to marry Kwezi, and to add insult to injury, Kwezi couldn't even wait to tell, or should I say to brag, and to just shove it in her face that, oh, I'm now Lehasa's wife. He paid the lobola. The face, the reaction that Pretty had, the shock that came over her, the disbelief that came over her, it was too much for her to handle. She just had to walk out. She had to walk out and just be somewhere that Kwezi isn't. You know, I feel like, as crazy as this may sound, I feel like Lehasa is now caught in a rock and a hard place. Like he's caught in the middle. And I feel bad for him. It sounds weird to me, but I actually do feel bad for him because I feel like he has no choice. You know, if he chooses Pretty over Kwezi, he will lose baby. And if he chooses Kwezi and the baby like he did already, by necessity, not because he wants to, it's because he has to, he loses Pretty, and that's what just happened. He lost Pretty because he had to choose Kwezi for necessity, not because he's in love with her. It's because the woman that is carrying his child happens to be Kwezi, someone he does not love, but he has to choose her for that reason, that that baby has to have his name, you know? And I respect Lehas for that choice, but it wasn't easy for him. I could tell that he was finding it difficult because deep down he does love Pretty. He really does, but I feel like sometimes his world, like his world with his uncle Kwezi, can collide with the world that he's trying to build with Pretty, because Pretty is such a, you know, naive, oblivious, she's innocent, you know, and I feel like Lehasa is trying to preserve that innocence, that pureness of what Pretty brings to the relationship, compared to when he's with Kwezi and Pumulo. That relationship is already tainted and compromised, you know. So he's trying to protect that untainted relationship he has with Pretty. So he's loving Pretty from an arm's length because he does not want Pretty to see the other side of him, which is ruthless, cold-hearted. He's a murderer. Like, he still feels like Pretty brings the good side to him, and he does not want that to change. Like, he does not want Pretty to lose that image that she has of him, which is pure and tainted, and I can feel the struggle that he's feeling, he's facing right now. I can see it, that he's torn between his good side and his ruthless side, which he has to have sometimes. Like, it's torn. He's really, really torn about it, and I get it. I honestly get it. But in terms of the long run, his relationship with Pretty is going to fall apart. It's already falling apart. Like, she walked out. She's now with the uncle, and deep down she thinks that she's over him. She says it, but I don't think she believes that she's over Lehasa. She even spoke to Eunice and said, "Do you know what? I'm still in love with him. Like, I cannot turn off my feelings. I'm still in love with this person. But what am I supposed to do with these feelings when they just bring pain and misery to my life and my being? What should I do with that?" She feels like she's losing control of her life. Her life does not belong to her anymore. That's what she feels like. It feels like it's happening to her, and she has no control over it, which is true. When it comes to love, sometimes we're so blinded by it, we don't want to see the real person that we're with. And that's what is happening with Pretty. She's so in love with Lehasa that she's ignoring the red flags, which she can see, she can feel it, she can tell there's something off about this relationship. But the love that she has for Lehasa outweighs those ringing bells in her head. Her gut feeling is telling her something. She's trying to convince herself that she's done with Lehasa, but deep down she's not. She's still in love with him. And it's not easy to just break up with someone and think that your feelings will disappear overnight. That's ridiculous. I mean, when she spoke to the uncle, she's like, "Do you know what? I can't pretend like my feelings do not exist. I can't just turn off my feelings like a switch." But the uncle's like, "You should, because this man does not care about you. This man does not care about you because he chose Kwezi." Do I believe that Lehasa does not care about Pretty or does not love Pretty? It may come across like that to some people. For example, Pretty's uncle sees it that way. But for me, as a viewer and who has seen the relationship and the dynamic between Pretty and Lehasa behind closed doors, I honestly, full-heartedly believe that Lehasa truly does love Pretty. He really does. He truly loves her. But he does not want her to see the other side of him, which is the cold-hearted truth of who he truly is and who he is and what he's capable of doing when you cross him. So, in terms of that, I honestly believe that he does love Pretty and he's truly in love with her, like, to his core. I can see it, I can feel it. It resonates through the screen all the time. But to other people from the outside would think that his actions tell a different story, which I get it as well. Because if Lehasa does love Pretty, he would choose Pretty all the time. But that's not the case. We need to look at the case, the whole dynamic of the situation before we judge Lehasa's choice by saying he does not love Preeti. He does love Preeti, but his circumstances do not allow him to be with her, which I honestly do understand. But other people can't or won't see it because they don't know what's really happening behind closed doors. They don't know what kind of hold Kwezi has over Preeti. You know, I honestly don't think they can comprehend the level of difficulty that Lehasa has to face every single day when it comes to Kwezi. Kwezi tried to seduce Lehasa. She got like flowers, candles, roses, and strawberries and chocolates to seduce Lehasa. And Lehasa was not having it. He's like, do you know what? In your dreams, this isn't gonna happen. I do not love you. Don't call me baby. Don't call me my love. I'm not your love. I'm not your husband. We did this out of necessity. Out of the fact that you are holding my unborn child hostage. He has no choice to do this. But to other people outside the relationship would honestly think that Lehasa does not love her. But I can see it as a viewer who has seen this relationship blossom from scratch, from like day one until now. I can honestly say with no doubt or hesitation that Lehasa truly does love. Wholeheartedly, he loves Preeti with all his heart. It just happens that he's torn apart between two different worlds, and the problems that he's having with this case, his murder trial. Like, he has so much on his plate that it's too much for him to comprehend or to deal with. But he's also trying to figure out how to salvage the relationship with Preeti. But it looks like Preeti's slipping away every single day. But Lehasa's trying to hold on with every fiber of his being. He's trying to hold on to the relationship that he had with her. You know, the innocence, the purity of the relationship he had with Preeti. He's trying so hard to keep it together. But I think deep down he can tell he's losing her because of his actions, which he has no control over because of the murder case and Kwezi being one of the problems. It's just too much for him. It's too much. Do I think they're gonna get back together? Do I think there's a chance for them to really be in a healthy relationship? To be honest, I don't know. I honestly don't know, because it's really unpredictable what kind of relationship these two have. I'm hopeful, but I don't know what the outcome is gonna be. But there's a part of me that believes that if you truly believe that your love is strong enough to hold on through this hardship, then as two people who love each other, you will do anything in your power to keep it that way. But in the meantime, I honestly think it's not looking good for both of them. Mainly for Lehasa, because he's torn between two people and two worlds. The world he has with Preeti and the world that surrounds him when it comes to Kwezi and the uncle. I don't know what's gonna happen, but for now, I'm hoping for the best, but I don't think it's gonna happen. in terms of Preeti and Lehasa's relationship, I'm just on the edge about that. I honestly see them not working, but I also want them to work. I don't know. I'm torn. That's it, guys. Tell me what you liked about this week's episodes of Skeem Saam. Comment below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. Don't forget to click on the notification bell to get notified when I post a new video. Peace. I'm out.